to Tour Truck Tuesday. This is one of my favorite videos that I do all year. There's a reason it's taken till now to get to you. If you've subscribed to the channel, you know that I don't do this until the bag is set for the year, and we are finally there. So let's get into it. It's the Trotty Golf What's in the Bag 2024. Let's start off where we started in the previous years with the golf bag. I literally said to TaylorMade, guys, I like black. I want a black golf bag and I want it to be light. I didn't have great expectations. This turned up and they absolutely nailed it. The stand is brilliant. It's black on black. You can personalize it as I have done there with the Full Swing logo. I like the bottom of the bag because it's nice and sturdy. It's not going to get damaged or anything. When you put it down, it sits low enough that it's not going anywhere. Pocket wise, I tend to keep gloves in the side, good for a water bottle, tees in there, golf balls, sky caddy, and then obviously the big pocket for any essentials that you might need. I did need to trim, these are detailed what's in the bags, the edges of this and just put a bit of heat on them because obviously I like to wear the bag quite high. I walk quite a bit so it's nice and light. It does only have 3 compartments to hold, but what I will say is the clubs come out very easily if it's sat on a golf cart. So I don't like to have multiple bags. This is small enough to be a Sunday bag, but it's sturdy enough to go on a golf cart. None of the zips have been an issue. All the things hold on good. I've had to use it once with an umbrella and it's gold, no issues there. So golf bag, big hit. I'm gonna guess Flex Tech, but again, I'll stick it down in the description. In terms of trinkets, gems, anything on the golf bag, I only keep one thing. There's only a few of us who've got them. It's the Goat Hill bag tag with my name on it. Shout out Andy Wood. I know he makes these and it's mint. Can't buy them anywhere. Like I say, there's a handful of us and we've got them at Goat. If you're a Goat local and you come up there a lot, you get one of these, and I do keep that on there out of pride. It's a great little venue. Short golf course, so good for your short game, which takes us into the first little round of golf clubs we're going to look at, and it's going to be the Wedges. Mill grind 4s, raw, they rust up pretty good. Trotty golf stamp in there, not overpowering on the stamp, I like it. And standard bounce on these wedges. I've been practicing a lot with the 56, which is standard bounce 12. Let's just explain a bit about bounce for people out there who are wondering what that is. The bounce is the camber on the sole of the golf club. You can see the back of this 56. It really only goes from a third in to the front, meaning when you open up the 56, you can still play shots where you get underneath it and it slides under, but it's still going to give you on a full shot this nice bit of to just slide through the turf like that. It's a club I've liked. One thing I will say in previous years, I've gone in a high toe in the 60. I've gone high toe in the Mill Grind 4. Such is the look. It got much shallower here and it took a much nicer shape. So when you do look down at this, it's a very classic looking shape. I like the 2 circles on the ferrule. It reminds me of old school wedges. And I've just had more of a enjoyment from the look, and the feel is fantastic. So when it comes to wedges, I'm Mill Grind 4. I go 52, 56 and 60. When you get these brand new, they are absolute munch machines. Be aware of that. They will spin like crazy. Now, you're going to notice first things, so a couple of things that are bespoke about my wedges, and grips. Changed the grip this season for the first time. I've gone back to some old school stuff. I wear a TaylorMade player's glove. I'm gonna put that on from here on out so I can get the real feel. But you're gonna see that I've got the company logo on the top from the 52 all the way to the forward, which is probably the most interesting club, so stay tuned for that one. But this has a rib in the back. So anytime you put a rib in the back of a club, and I know that Q and I, the guy who films me, we had a laugh about this, he didn't know what ribs were. It helps your fingers go in the cradle. So there's a ridge known as a rib that helps your fingers go in the cradle. It's important that you get it set in the right position because when you're hitting golf shots, it's going to impact the face angle. So with the 52, a lot of the time, I'll hit full shots. So I have a rib on this one. to remind me where the blade is. But if you think about it, when it comes to a 56 or a 60, I'll play around with the face angle quite a bit, and I might hit more bunker shots with both of these clubs, so I want the face open. I might hit a closed runner, so I want the face closed. So I put a round on the 56 and the 60. I put the logo down, very Tiger-esque. It's got the full cord. These grips are extremely aggressive when it comes to cord, so your hands do callus up. And you'll notice when you look at the top of the grips, the rounds don't have a line, and the rib has a line between the model and the manufacturer. So that's how you're going to identify it if you can't even feel what a rib is, but that's how that goes. Then into golf shafts. I already alluded to, I hit full shots with the 52. That's got the same shaft as my irons. I'm going to get to that in a minute. One of the best finds of this season has been this 610 wedge shaft from KBS. It's no surprise, I've spent a ton of time at KBS. They've got the KBS X, the Experience, around the corner from my house. I've been there a lot. Went down a whole journey with the irons. I'm going to put in some clip data that will show you when I changed iron shafts and what happened, because I actually got it wrong first time round. There were money tapers and there were Tor Vs, but you can see my approach play has shot up on the Tor Vs when I got into those golf shafts. But the wedge shafts, which is the 610 120 gram, has been awesome. Really like that. I'd say I'm struggling with my short game at the moment, but the feel, I know it's not the golf clubs. I play my wedge lie angles a bit flatter, and swing weights, which I've talked about before, which is balance point, a little bit heavier. Quite traditional in that sense, quite old school. So 56 and 60 have the rounds, and they go with the 610 wedge, and then the 52 lies in there, and it goes with the Tor V golf shaft. So let's now talk about Tor Vs, and we will go to my 5 iron. I'll get the whole caboodle out through to pitching wedge. I've been putting a bit of work in, you can see here, but lie angles and where the mud marks are and where the scratches are on the sole, everything is in order. So I cater lie angles from the pitching wedge is going to be similar to the 52. And then I change the lie angle, just going like half a degree to a degree flatter increment all the way up to the 5. Why am I telling you that? Because when I get to 4 and 3, I don't go any flatter. Because with my 4 and 3 iron, I can quite often lose it a little to the right. So I leave those lie angles. Something you should look into with your own set. You don't always have to move and cater to what manufacturers say you should do. So I've got pitching wedge going again with that rib grip. Now the swing weights of these are the same all the way through. I don't do the Bryson one length. You can see here now the lengths are moving throughout. If you look at the wedge and the 52, almost identical in length. I'm literally going an 1/8 longer on the pitching wedge, and then I go back to just a 1/2 inch difference between the rest of them. If we throw the 8 iron down, and there's a reason for this, if you ever do this with your golf clubs, you can see that the step pattern caters and moves and tapers all the way through. I'll hit a 7 iron so you can see it, and I'll explain a little bit as to why I'm in these irons, what I like about them, what I actually sometimes don't like about them. So P7 MCs, it's a forged iron. You get the wear marks on the blade, which is great. Mine coming out a little bit out the toe, which caused me to have a couple of lesson questions. Like I mentioned, it's Tor V in there. But what I love about these irons is, we've got a spin rate coming up now on the full swing. I love the spin I get from them paired up with the golf ball. So when I look at an iron shot like that, I like to see it climbing. Spin rate's going to throw up now on the 7 iron, coming out at around 7,000, which is a great number. But I like to be able to move the spin and hit one with more spin or draw one with less spin. So I think if you're a player that is in that world where you're asking yourself those questions, expecting those things from a golf ball, a golf club, then getting into something like the P7 MC is great. However, I haven't been playing amazing for the last 6 months, and sometimes the miss hits aren't great. But when you're playing and you're feeling like you're getting your confidence, I think that these irons are absolutely fantastic. I think I can do everything I want to do. So that first golf shot was just a cruisy one. Let's say I want to hit a lower one. It's just so easy to do it. You can manipulate the ball flight. You go through the turf every time in a similar method. The spin rate does exactly what you want it to do for that golf shot. Very responsive, and a beautiful, soft feel in these irons, which only comes from forged. So the look is I don't even need to question it. The look is fantastic, the offset is fantastic, the top line is fantastic, and when you're playing solid, beautiful set of golf clubs, very aimed massively at a strong, good player. Which brings me then to the 4 and the 3. This is an interesting club, the 3 iron. I'll get to that because that's maybe not as traditional as you might think. The 4 iron, I actually step into, and this is huge for my set of golf clubs, I step into the 770 here. So it has the speed pocket, the hell's that? The little pocket at the front, so if you strike it low in the blade, you don't lose ball speed. It's gonna spin a little less than the MC, but it is a bit more forgiving. The CG is optimized in here to give me the perfect ball flight for this club. I stick with the Tour V, I stick with the grip, I stick with the swing weight. Lie angles, it's very similar to my 5 iron, as is my 3 iron, but it comes out and it just gives me a bit more speed and a bit more apex height. So if I'm standing there and I do need to genuinely hit, probably be a par 3 for me where I'd be looking at 4 iron, or a par 5, or a long par 4. This club just gives me a slightly larger look behind the ball. So I've combo set from the MC to this, and I've got standard lofts on everything. I'll write the lofts down in the description below. But you're gonna see this 4 iron, I think it's at 24, which the actual stock 770 would probably be a bit stronger. So I don't go down that route. I did go with the KBS experience with black initially in here. Gotta go chrome. Can't be doing fancy ferrules. BBF and Co, I love you, but it's not for me. Just black ferrules. Give me that more traditional look. That's what I want. And then this is the 4 iron. It comes out that hair higher. It's quite forgiving, to be fair. So that was leaked a little, but again, you can see nice height to it. Give you another one. Easy to hit, just the sound, easy and high. Which is circumstance, like playing in the States, I want that. I want that 4 iron that comes out with that flight. Great golf club, really good. Now, I had the 3 to marry up to it and worked on lie. I mean, you'd think lie angle, what do you mean you moved your lie angle? I had my lie angles the same. Again, I'll put them down in the description, but I had that 3 iron, I think half a degree flatter than the 4, and it was just going right, causing me issues, and it wasn't coming out with the height that I wanted from it. So enter in this beauty, which shouldn't really be for me if I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm proud of myself that I've gone here with this. It was one of the clubs I was waiting for to set up my video for What's in the Bag 2024. It wouldn't be something you'd expect me to use from the past. I used the P-DHY for about 2 weeks and I liked it, but it felt quite similar to my 770. A little bit more powerful, I would say, in terms of length, which I loved, but it was coming out at a similar height to my 770. And I filmed with TaylorMade a first look at this club, and it was built, if we lay it down here, actually we'll compare. It was built 3/4 longer than the 4 iron. So if you look at the length there, it was built a little bit longer, and they were apologizing for that. And I was like, well, hang on a minute, let me hit it, which has happened, by the way, on tour a lot with players. Lie angle was really flat. It was like 57, so I had to move the lie angle of this to about 59. And I started hitting it, and it was an immediate aha moment. And I think the people behind the camera, when I was making that video with TaylorMade, they were like, well, that was good acting. I was like, that wasn't acting. That was me hitting this P-DHY, 20 degrees, move to 21. Hopefully I'll give it a good showing here. It's got this Tour Hybrid prototype 95S Plus from KBS. I think it's been tipped a 1/2 inch. I don't even know. That's how new this was to me. I will say that Big Wave Dave at KBS told me I'd like this shaft, and I really wasn't sure. I asked him about it, but he's done me a solid again on that. It's good. Obviously, it's a little bit lighter than the iron shafts, but I wanted a bit of yardage out of this club, and I wanted height. It is an interesting looking golf club. I'm not really a rescue guy, as those of you who follow know, but when you put this one down, I've noticed that I don't love this. Very particular about grips, and the cord actually goes on a slight offset to the decal, which sometimes I might even change the grip. That's one of the only things I might change about this, but it comes out strong if I need it to, but also high if I need it to. Very easy to hit, very large behind the golf ball. I'm maybe not the golfer that it's aimed for, but it's in right now. And wasn't hit great, go again, and I like it. So again, not hit great, and still gave me 3,000 spin, gave me 204 and a not great hit. So low in the blade, but still had the power and the distance out of it. Let's go another one. But you can see if this is a 3 iron, it's not everyone's bag. but you're getting a nice height out of that, and it's becoming a useful golf club. So still very much getting used to this, but on the same note, just a nice different club that will transition nicely into my woods. There you go. And you can use it off the tee, you can use it off the fairway like this, you can use it out the rough, and it chases out there at a decent yardage. I mean, that's gone 235 total, and into the breeze like this, good hit. But like I say, it transitions nicely into an area where I think I'm quite unique in this sense, but very much set up for here, for California. So a couple of things before we get into the top end. This iRange Sports, I'll put the link down below. Gene keeps sending me these through. They're fantastic whenever you need them. His customer service is excellent. You literally take your cell phone, iPad, hit it on there. I like the basic one. There are different models. I'll let you check it out, but you can use that to film your golf swing at different angles. Tour Aim, you've seen that in videos before. One of the few companies when it comes to training products I actually have a partnership with, because I think it's crucial. That's how important I think it is, which is why I've gone down this route. I don't partner up with everyone and anyone, but that one is fantastic. I like it in the sense you can use it for mat ranges, you can use it for the kingdom, but it's always going to give you a guide and keep you honest with your alignment. If you keep on top of your alignment, you're going to be a decent player, trust me there. This is the club I wanted to talk about. It is a TD 70 gram Cat 5. That means it's X-Flex. Got that rib grip on it. Seamus head covers. There's only a few of these left in stock. They've been great quality, to be fair. The Trotty Golf leather has aged nicely. Got the little onion mascot on there. Really good head cover. I like them because when they sit in the bag, A, they're black, which I like, and B, it just looks classy, right? So good head cover. Two clubs. This one's doing all right, testing it out. Tipping, which you measure by how much it's tip cut, is the same. And I know this is a 2-inch tip, but this is 80 gram. So this is my QI10 5 wood. I quite like it. Nice large head on it. I would say it's good, but I'm still favoring this one for the simple reason that it's a 16.5 bent down. And this is the old model, bent down to 15. I probably need to get a QI10 to be fair in it, because this is going really good. So golf course dependent, that one goes in versus this one. But what I do with these clubs is I take the lie angles very flat. So for me, being not the tallest of golfers, I do tend to take the lie angle, which is a very tour truck move, quite flat, so that I can keep my hands low. And then from there, I tend to bend the loft stronger as well. So the face goes open. So again, you might be looking at it going, okay, so you make a 16.5, you move it down to 15. Why wouldn't you just use a 15? Well, the courses I'm playing, again, aren't the longest. Center of gravity positioning in this 4 wood and 5 wood versus the 3 just gives me a bit more spin. So you can see, I've talked about it in that P-DHY. If I hit this 5 wood, then I can get some nice spin out of the golf club, and I can just get it stopping. And on the same note, it's always easy to take spin off. So nice high 5 wood. Good sound to it. Good golf club, and a nice small head, which again speaks volumes for the DHY as to why that one's in there. So that one was a little bit of a draw, but if I just want to fade one, there you go. So you're not getting that golf shot out of a 3 wood. That soft hit, that sound, which is why this one's in there, giving me plenty of yardage. So that's the QI10 5 wood, like that. And then this 4 wood is still in here, just because if I'm being honest, I absolutely nailed the build spec on this one. It's a hard club to get fit for. Anyone out there that's looking to get a new 5 wood, new 4 wood, new 3 wood, very personal, very difficult to get right. Fitter's nightmare, tour player's nightmare. And this one comes out just on a day like today into breeze. I can just hit this a bit lower and feel like I'm getting a bit more energy out of it. Do you see what I mean? So that's flat, more powerful, but that's really good. Massive call out to all of you. I'm building a squad of golf clubs. So those of you keeping up, this is not 14, is it? This is a squad, and that's what you need. And that reason, that shot is why that 4 wood's still in there, and I just haven't got down to the tour department to make a QI10 4 wood as good as that one. And that's why I don't play the 5 wood. Before we do these two, I wanna be honest about last year's golf ball versus what's here. So this, I played this at the Good event. I played it for a long time. This is 2 years ago. This is a 2-year-old golf ball. I thought it was a lot harder. I like the hard feel. it comes off quick. I used this for a while. The only reason I still have this in the bag is because I had these Demon Deacon ones and I never got any more, but I had a lot, big stock of them and I'm running out of them. So obviously golf ball is a huge one. You know it, you launch monitors, you're changing it, you're doing stuff, it's a tough one. I'm currently going one line down the side and I'm using it for putting, and I always put a little dot between the number and the wording. But it brings me to the new golf ball, and they've nailed it. TaylorMade has absolutely nailed it. First off, how good's that? Let's just go there. But you can do that too with my symbol, so you can do what you want when it comes to the ball. But the spin with the wedges with this has been under control and then not losing speed, and it does feel for me a bit softer. But another ball I've been really working on is the new model. I've got the line down it, but in the picks. I think it's a couple of things. I think it's fun, one, but the next thing I like about it is I have a lot of technical thoughts going on in my mind, and it can be a nightmare. And I think, and there'll be some psychology in this, but if you can focus on one of the picks markings on here through your swing, it takes you away from stressing about mechanics. So yeah, get your target, but I've been using the picks to help me hit shots, which might sound a little out there, but that's where I've been. I still have some of these Demon Deacons left, but no issue changing into that new golf ball. Tested it all on the launch monitor, fantastic. I've got a chalk line down here that I use for putting quite a bit. In terms of tools, it's the same as it has been every year. I've got my buddy's pitchfork from Wales in the UK, always use that. And then ball marker wise, I have a Hoylake, which is where I grew up, Royal Liverpool marker that you can only get. This one was a junior club championship. It's well worn. Again, I saw Carl Morris, the psychologist, years ago, worked with some great players, and we would talk a lot about triggers. So you see it's actually quite worn in the middle, the shields for Hoylake, but I would charge this up for sure. It's something you could try and do. You need a kinesthetic, so a feel, an audio or a visual trigger that helps you when you play to give you the feelings of the good shots. So I would often rub this marker in my pocket so I didn't look like a complete muppet doing something like, oh, scratching here. I'd rub the marker in my pocket after every good shot I'd hit when I played a lot more than I play now, and that would charge up the information and give me a positive feeling, you know what I mean? And then as I go through, I keep a few random tees in here. Obviously my favorite one are these Trotty Golf tees. I like them, they're cool. Little Trotty logo on top, and then the @Trotty Golf handle. Just, it's always funny, you know, you pull them out and you're playing golf with the boys, they think that's funny. Then it brings us into the most recent head cover that I bought out and the money. We'll do driver first. So you can go with the Seamus on here. This is round. Remember I gave the education on if there is no line in between the middle, that's round. There's a reason that's round. Driver barrel comes a bit bigger from Seamus. This is the LS. I've recently put it one click towards higher because it was coming out a little low. So I moved that, give me a bit more spin, make it a bit easy to hit. I'll be honest, swing wise, I've been working on staying quite central, not moving off the golf ball. So I needed a bit more height in the driver. So rather than get too settled on driver, I put the round on here, and by having the round, now I can move the shaft setting, the loft sleeve, with no stress. Worrying about that rib, because obviously when you move the loft sleeve, you change the rib position, so that doesn't change the rib. I can see more of the face. It's a KBS TD prototype 60 Cat 5. Apparently it's tour only, and this has got a 1-inch tip on it. But for me, the way I'm swinging at the moment, it's just to try and give me a bit more height. So literally just changed it recently into the LS. I like the LS because it's much smaller. Always like a small driver head rather than the big one. And just, again, height is what I'm aiming for. Just giving you that nice height out of it. I want it to feel like it's moving forward, but still have the energy to get, without me feeling like I've got to help it in the air. Area that I'd say I've been quite happy with last 6-7 months. So when it comes to driver, I might play around with that loft sleeve, but right now at this moment, that's where I'm at. I'll change tee height, low tees for cuts, high tees for draws. It's a personal thing, something you should maybe try out. Then it comes down to the final club before we get into, let me think what else might be in this bag. Training aid wise, carrying round wise, do have new product I've been using in partnership with. These guys have been amazing to work with. Sky Caddy Pro 5X. They have been fantastic. That is basically having an old school tour book, so not having the laser. When it comes to looking at yardages, you can look at the front of green and where you are, the back of green, the carry distance. Great content out there with Barstool recently. Trent just wasn't embracing the back of the green. We relied a lot on the Sky Caddy Pro 5X that would give us the back of the green yardage, helped him massively. So that's been amazing and something I use a lot. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else in there that's cool. Oh, here you go, there's a Dave's amped up organic protein bar. There you go, shout out Dave. Don't know him, he must be a good lad, looks like he works out. And then we get into 24 peaches, probably going to be none of these left now. 24 peaches, Onion Mascot carrying peach number 24, Trotty. This was my Masters Edition head cover. If there might be a couple of blades left, I'll stick a link down in the description if you want to check that out. And then the Smart Ball, what do I use this for? So you blow it up like so. This is a Martin Chuck thing. Big fan of Martin Chuck. You pop it over your head. You get your hat nice and straight so you don't look like a muppet. And then what you do here is it keeps you connected. It's a good warm-up tool. I think you'll have seen Cam Smith uses it, Rosie uses it. And what you're trying to do with this, you can hit balls at 70% pace if you want, but you place it in here. So just in the middle of the forearms. And then you're trying to just work the face and work the hands so it keeps everything connected. And if you hold this together, it stops this movement, which then can cause the club to be a little steep this way. So I like that. Good for warm up without getting you overly technical with what you're about to go and do on a golf course or achieve on a golf course. I know that hats get a lot of questions as we're doing the full watts in the bag before we get to the flat stick. I've been wearing 2 styles this year. I think this is the 5 panel from TaylorMade. Comes with the clip logo on the side for me, obviously, which I've talked a lot about. I like that hat or the traditional flat bill that I've been wearing. This one's coming up a little bit smaller. Putter we'll get to because we didn't cover that. It's interesting in its sense. It's an Armlock, which I've been in for a long time now. On and off, I like to practice with different putters. Try and keep it fresh. But the truth is, this works well for me. I've messed around with the weights. I've got more weight out in the toe. I was trying to get more toe hang. You change toe hang in the design by cutting the shaft a little differently. So I did have one that would hang more like that, but it just didn't look as good from the top. It's marked up quite a bit, so it's tools, not jewels. The recent ad was the little trotty golf man lasered in there. Joe Ryan helped me with that. He talked about wanting to change the Surlin insert because there's some wear marks there. I was like, don't change that. That shows I've been working at it. I would like a new grip on this, but they seem pretty hard to get hold of. It's the Winn. It wears pretty quickly. I like it that it's not obviously got loads of messaging on there, marketing, and this one's on square, so I've just patched it up with a bit of electric tape, to be honest with you. But it's got about 6.5 degrees of loft on it. Obviously I get lots of forward roll. Currently forward lean, shaft lean. Currently I'm clawing it, but every now and again I like to think I'm going to go back to just conventional. Longer putts pace-wise, not as good as the short one, but for me, the 6 feet and under, I'm just better at. And I know from clipped that that's a key part of my game, so I do go down that route. I also like that it's personal, but it's a blade head cover and not a mallet head cover. I just traditional, I guess, just like a blade head rather than a mallet, albeit I totally get that the mallets are much more forgiving. But that's that. Took a little bit of getting used to with the length, but got there in the end. And then the final piece that you've seen me use throughout this whole thing is going to be this. And this is a product that I met the guy, final story. His name is Jeff from Source Golf, and I met him at a Seattle golf show that I was talking at. And this guy started shouting at me and Greg Manley here from the Kingdom, and he was like, can I show you our product from Source Golf? And I said, yeah, sure. And he was a brilliant, brilliant guy, huge personality. And this was the zip towel, and he told me that this thing came to him in the night and he had this idea about this product and he wrote it down first time, and he ended up with this towel that works like so. And I was like, okay, cool. So you can see me making various zipping combinations. So he said, you know, you play all seasons, you zip the towel like that and it can go over the golf clubs and it'll keep your clubs dry. Okay, Jeff, yeah, that's cool. He's a caddy, by the way, in the Colorado area. He was saying to me that it gets hot in the summer. So what you want to do in Colorado is you want to wet the microfiber inside of a towel, and then that stays moist. which it is very much staying moist, and the outside is what you rub your hands on or whatever, but the microfiber stays moist. Then, as I explained, you have that goes over as a hood. But he said the other thing is, let's face it, we all try and play golf for a bit of fun. We might get a few drinks at the turn, and how annoying is it when you get in your golf cart and you're going down the back nine and those drinks aren't staying cool? Well, you've already wet your microfiber towel, and Jeff, by the way, this is genius. So you fill it with ice, take the handles out, throw your beers or your sodas in there, and you can either dump it in your golf cart or you can hang it off your golf bag like so. So that was the zip towel. I thought it was brilliant. And then he added in, because it's Masters season and we've just got through it, this is the layout of Augusta with the little prayer sign for Amen Corner, which was a nice touch with the azaleas inside. I'll stick a link into that if you want to check it out. It's all down there, as I will with all the other products. But that effectively is my 2024 what's in the bag. If I'm being honest, I think all of it is in, which is why I've made this video, because nothing's changing. If you got any questions, fire it down below. Embrace a squad of golf clubs. Do not just be going with your standard 14. I've got a squad. I may throw in a cheeky 3-wood if really needed, but all depends what golf trips we've got on the map. But other than that, 2024 what's in the bag for Trotty. That's it. All the links below. Check it out.